Today we're taking a look at these NHL matches, which are happening on Sunday, May 21st, 2023, and giving you our team and total picks for today. Welcome back to High Stakes. Before we dive into our video, don't forget to subscribe and to push the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Also check out our Patreon if you want access to our premium picks. Our Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. You will find the link to our Patreon in the description and comments section below. Boston Celtics vs Miami Heat. Joe Mazzulla is a first-year coach in the NBA who got thrust into the head coaching position after Boston removed Ime Udoka. The Celtics have not been executing well late in this series, and Coach Mazzulla did not take a timeout during Miami's 46-point third quarter in Game 1. Erik Spoelstra is one of the best coaches in the game, and the coaching mismatch is beginning to become more apparent. The Celtics need a Game 3 win or likely will face a deficit they cannot come back from. Jason Tatum has been excellent this postseason. He is averaging 28.7 ppg and 10.5 rpg to lead the Celtics. Jaylen Brown has not been far behind in scoring, he is averaging 23.9 ppg. In Game 2, Boston continued to start their bigger lineup, with Al Horford sliding to the power forward spot and starting Robert Williams III at center. Williams III had 13 points, but only grabbed 3 rebounds in 23 minutes, and Horford only scored 2 points in 29 minutes in Game 2. Boston would be smart to go back to their smaller lineup that was successful in the earlier rounds, starting Derek White and creating mismatches for Tatum against slower forwards. The Miami Heat were trailing by 8 going into the fourth quarter in Game 2, but won the final period 36-22 to pull out the win. Miami was 18-19 from the free throw line and dominated the boards, winning the battle on the glass 45-35, even with Boston starting their big lineup. No NBA team has ever come back from a 3-0 deficit in a playoff series, so Miami virtually has a chance to clinch the series at home in Game 3. Jimmy Butler has been the best player for Miami during this run and may be the playoff MVP of the league so far. Butler is averaging 31.1 ppg, 6.6 rpg, and 5.6 apg, while leading the 8th seed to the conference finals. Bam Adebayo has been a strong contributor as well, adding 18.5 ppg and 9.7 rpg during the playoffs. Caleb Martin came off the bench in Game 3 with an electric performance, scoring 25 points on 11-16 shooting. Boston is known as the deeper team, but contributions from Martin, Max Strus, Duncan Robinson and Kyle Lowry showcase the depth that Miami has as well. Miami's recent playoff rotation is at full strength, as they will be without Tyler Herro and Victor Oladipo for the postseason. Miami ranks 25th in offensive efficiency and 8th in defensive efficiency. The Heat were 27-14 at home in the regular season and are 5-0 at home in the playoffs. The Celtics are inexplicably 3-point favorites in this one. What does Miami have to do to get some respect? I just don't see how you can favor the Celtics in this one, given that the Heat have not lost at home so far in the playoffs. The Celtics are the higher seed and the more talented team, but I have no confidence in their ability to close out a game in crunch time, especially against this Heat team, which has come up big time after time. The Celtics are 0-4 against the spread in their last 4 meetings versus the Heat. The Celtics could possibly win this, but it would be only by a bucket late. Take the Heat getting the points. Boston Celtics vs Miami Heat. The Boston Celtics are in big trouble. They once again blew a fourth quarter lead and lost to the Miami Heat in Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals. They are now down 0-2 and they head for Miami for Game 3. This was just a heartbreaker because the Celtics led most of the way, but the Heat hung around, and then in the fourth quarter, they made some big shots, made some stops, and overtook Boston to win 111-105. At the end of the day, we have a real decision to make, Celtics forward Grant Williams said, reported ESPN. And that decision is going to be, are we going to come back and really set the tone for the rest of this year and really make a statement, or are we going to come out and lay down? And I don't think this team is built for laying down. Williams got into it with Jimmy Butler in the fourth quarter, but it seemed to fire up Butler, who made some big buckets. Celtic stars Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown were not up to the task as they disappeared in the fourth quarter. Tatum led Boston with 34 points and 13 rebounds, while Brown added 16 points. The Miami Heat just keep defying the odds. The 8th seed, who lost the first play-in game and barely got into the tournament as the 8th seed, is now 2 wins away from advancing to the NBA Finals. They took out the Celtics in Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals by the score of 111-105 and now head back to Miami, hoping to close it out. Jimmy Butler led the Heat with 27 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists, and made some huge buckets down the stretch as the Heat erased an 8-point deficit at the end of the fourth quarter. The Heat outscored Boston 36-22 in the final stanza on Boston's home court in a must-win game. "We've got some dogs, and I love it. I love every bit of it," Butler said after the game, reported the New York Post. "Guys never quit. We never give up. We love playing with one another. We've got so much faith and trust in one another." On his fourth quarter beef with Williams, Butler said he thrives on it. "Some healthy competition. I ain't going to lie to you. Healthy competition. And I love it. I'm always here to compete. I like to talk, at times. As long as we get the win, I'm good with it." Bam Adebayo had a great game as well with 22 points, 17 rebounds and 9 assists, while Caleb Martin added 25 points. Miami is known for their defense, as Butler and Adebayo are two of the best defenders in the league, but they have been cashing overs all postseason. 4 of the last 5 Heat games have gone over the total, and Game 2's total was identical to this 214.5 line. Both teams are filled with perimeter stars who can fill it up, and there are shooters all over the floor. The only non-shooter who gets meaningful minutes in this series is Robert Williams III. Every other player can knock down the open 3. We are going to stick with the recent trends and trust the over here. Take the over. 214.5 points.